Hello everyone. I'm going to attempt to make coconut flour pancakes for the first time. Actually, I'm going to hopefully make a waffle instead, just putting it in my waffle maker. But I'm trying a recipe I found on a website called nourishingdays.com, and it calls for 4 eggs, a cup of milk, half a cup of coconut flour, but I'm making half because I really want to see if this works out first. So I've got a 1/4 cup of coconut flour in here with a half a teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to also mix to that 2 eggs, half a cup of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla, and half a tablespoon of honey. So I'm going to get the wet and dry ingredients together, and I'll get back to you in a moment as I get them all together. Okay, I have my wet ingredients combined and my dry ingredients in separate bowls. So I'm going to just whisk my eggs, milk. And you can use coconut milk for this. It said, and I assume you can use almond milk or regular cow's milk if you're non-vegan. And so this is not vegan, obviously, because I'm using the eggs. And if you don't have an intolerance to dairy, you can use regular milk. So I'm combining this. I should use a bigger bowl, and I just can't find my bowls because my house is just getting back into order after the flooding. So stuff is put away, but I'm going to try to find a bigger bowl, so just one moment. Okay, I've poured my wet ingredients into my Pampered Chef bowl, which is too big, but it's fine. Just want to give it a good whisking without worrying that it's going to spill over the edges. And now I'm going to add my coconut flour. So coconut flour absorbs a lot of liquid, which is why you don't really need a lot for this. So there we go, mixing this together. I do have an immersion blender, and depending on how well this seems to be coming together, I might use that. And in fact, why don't I just use that just to make sure everything is nice and smooth. It's actually quite amazing. I've never tried yet making anything with coconut flour, even though I've made my own coconut flour. So I've been waiting and wanting to try something. So well, maybe I'm good. I don't need the immersion blender. I think this seems to be coming together well. The only thing I am going to add to that is a little bit of cinnamon, just because I love cinnamon. And I actually forgot to put the honey, so just a moment. I'm just going to put a gob in there. There we go. That's honey. And now I'm just adding some cinnamon, so I'm just changing it up slightly. And now I'm just going to mix all that. Okay, so here's my waffle maker. That's lightly greased. You can, of course, use coconut oil. And I'm just going to pour this in. A little bit more over there. Okay. Here are the waffles. They smell good. I'm just going to get them on a plate. Oh, okay, they are a lot softer. That's what my... Ooh, maybe a little too cooked. Sorry. This is for my daughter. Maybe I'll have to have this batch. Yeah, they are definitely a lot softer. Someone did say they don't hold up as well, but there we go. That's what they look like. And the consistency is very different. I mean, it's very much more eggy. Okay, because it is a bit more eggy and softer, I'm actually going to try to add, this is 1/8 of a cup of coconut flour. I'm going to add that. So we'll see if changing the ratio of the coconut flour makes it firmer or anything. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make more waffles. Okay, this is the second batch I made. They seem a bit fluffier, still very, I don't know if the word is doughy, maybe that's the word, but I guess we'll figure out how they compare. They're very soft. They're very soft. Ooh, see, that's already falling apart before I can get it on the plate. Okay, so maybe I won't deviate from the recipe as it was. But, there you go. Okay, they don't taste bad. I'll compare them to the first ones. Alright, I'm trying to make a pancake with the altered mixture. As you can see, it's a lot softer, and I've got that stove way too high, so it's burning, as you can see as I flip this over. But, you know, I succeeded in making a pancake regardless. Now here I am going to make some fresh coconut flour in my Blend-Tech. So I've got some pulp from making coconut milk that I recently dried, and I'm blending it up to make fresh coconut flour to continue the second portion of my experiment. And there we go. Okay, so let's compare coconut flours. This is store-bought bulk coconut flour. Has that very smooth, floury consistency of any typical flour you buy. This is what I made in my Blend-Tech. And it's smooth as well, just not that uber smoothness of, you know, of a coconut flour. Maybe, sorry, store-bought coconut flour. Maybe if you had a proper flour mill, you would get it to be 100% that consistency. But this is 100% coconut pulp, no preservatives, no anything else added. Coconut flour right here. Okay, I have my dry ingredients where I have the homemade coconut flour, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and I put some cinnamon in there as well. And then I have my wet ingredients. My eggs, half a cup of milk, 2 eggs at room temperature, half a cup of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla, and half a teaspoon, or sorry, quarter teaspoon of sea salt. So I'm just going to mix all that up. I believe that was all the ingredients. I'll make sure to post the ingredients if you'd like to see them. Okay, so here goes. Now we're going to mix in the homemade coconut flour. Let's see how different this is. I altered the first recipe I did by adding a bit more coconut flour, and it changed the dynamic. So I'm going to try to keep this the same, but I'm really going to judge it by the consistency. As of right now, it's fairly runny, and my feeling is that I could add a little bit more of the homemade coconut flour, like maybe 1/8 of a cup. So let me do that. Okay, I've added another 1/8 of a cup. And this is my first time really trying to work with coconut flour. So I don't know what it's supposed to be like. But this right here seems a bit better. So I'm not sure what's different about the store-bought one. But this is the consistency. And remember, because it is homemade coconut flour, you're going to see those little black flecks that come from the skin. on the mature coconuts. All right, I'm happy with this consistency right here. So, time to try to make the waffles. Okay, my waffle griddle is on and it's hot. I'm going to put a little bit of coconut oil in there to help things along. And then I'm going to pour. Okay, so definitely, that's how that looks. Let's see how they turn out. Hopefully that's going to be enough. Both of those. I'm just going to close it and try to keep it going for less time than the other ones because they got a bit burnt. I have to tell you, these smell really good. Maybe because I added a bit more cinnamon, I don't know. And you are supposed to be able to watch for when that light turns off, but I'm not trusting it here. Okay, so there we go. These look good. Let me take them out and see how they come out. Again, softer, just like the first batch I made. Okay, awesome. And I think I'm also going to, okay, I'm going to show you this, you guys right here. I did try frying one of the other ones, but it was after I'd added extra flour, and it, you know, I don't think it did it justice. But maybe I'll try frying one of these just to see how it turns out. The color of these is much more like a whole wheat flour color. And, you know, you can put a little butter on if you like. Let's do the taste test. I really like the smell of these. So, some 100% pure maple syrup. Okay. And now let me taste. Easier to cut, again, just like the first batch. I'm going to taste this. You know what? This is better. This is a lot better. Granted, I could have left the other one a little too long in terms of it seeming sort of burnt, but the flavor of this, I mean, this cuts nice and light. Like this one better for sure. But it does seem you're going to have to adjust your ratio of homemade coconut flour to the store-bought version. So mix up what you've got, add and see what it looks like, and add a little more homemade coconut flour as necessary. This is really good. I like this. Okay, so I have my stove turned on. I'm going to add some coconut oil. One bit of advice I do have to give you is that when you make your coconut flour, you know, put it in an airtight container and then put it in the fridge, because I found that I had some that I had not put in the fridge, and after some months, or after some time passed, it just started to have that little slightly spoiled smell to it. Boy, can I speak today? Okay, so here we go. Stove's maybe not as hot as it should be yet, but pouring it anyway. Okay, we'll just do that. Okay, so I should turn this down a little bit, but it's heating up. It's puffing up nicely, like a real pancake. Like a wheat flour pancake, I should say. A bit soft around the edges, so still gonna try to flip. Yeah, there you go. See, because it does end up softer. And that looks good. Okay, there it is. There is my coconut flour pancake. And now time for the taste test. I'm just going to put a little bit of butter on it. This is the homemade coconut flour. I mean, it looks really nice. Again, it looks like a whole wheat flour. consistency seems nice. Okay, so a little bit of my 100% pure maple syrup. And that's nice. Really is. Consistency is, I'd say, less eggy than the other one. You know, not quite the same as a regular wheat flour, but holds up well, cuts nicely. It tastes great. This actually, right here, I hardly really notice the difference. I mean, you notice slightly, but you wouldn't be like, oh god, this is so not like a regular pancake. So there you go. Whole wheat flour, store-bought coconut flour versus homemade coconut flour. There's a difference. I do like this one better. Alright, thanks for watching.